I'm not an expert in many things. In fact, I don't think I'm an expert on anything. I mean, I can't even make a top 10 list. I can only come up with 9. However, I like to think I have decent taste in board games, and people I play games with tend to like the ones I put on the table. So I thought I'd share with you my list of 9 board games from 2019 that you should check out. Now, this is not a best of 2019 list, just a list of solid games that should go over well with almost any audience. Since Days of Wonder publishes so few games each year, their titles have to be high caliber. Fortunately for them, they were able to snatch up Deep Blue in 2019. In Deep Blue, each player will hire and lead a nautical team of captains, divers, and multiple types of crew members. Over the course of the game, you'll cruise around the ocean, discover shipwrecks, and initiate and join excavation dives. As is standard with the deck building mechanism, everyone begins with the same deck makeup. You'll need to build an effective deck of crew member cards that are used to race around the board to join as many dive sites as you can, defend against hazards on those dives, and collect the valuable treasures that are discovered. Now, because of the way the dives work, many people categorize Deep Blue as a push-your luck game. But doing that is a critical error. I mean, it's there, but the game isn't about drawing until you bust. It's about carefully crafting a deck of crew members to use for dives and the challenge of keeping your hand in a state of equilibrium. That balance is way more important than deciding whether or not to keep drawing from a bag. Now, with the right approach to the game, you'll see why Deep Blue belongs on this list and in your collection. Look out, Codenames! You have a new challenger, and its name is Letter Jam. If you enjoy Codenames, or don't enjoy Codenames of other party games like it, stop what you're doing and order a copy of Letter Jam. Players begin a game of Letter Jam with a hand of jumbled up letter cards that make up a word. However, each person is not allowed to look at their cards. Instead, players each take one of their letters, place it in a stand, and position it in front of them to where the other players can see it. Players give clues to each other by placing number tokens near the letters in a sequence that make up a word. If the clue includes your letter, you will use deduction to identify it, giving you a new piece of information to help you deduce your starting word. The game ends either when players attempt to guess their words or when the group runs out of clue tokens. Points are awarded based on how many letters are guessed correctly for each player. By mixing the best ingredients of word, cooperative, and deduction games, CGE has published a deliciously unique experience. It can be made more or less challenging by adjusting the length of starting words and works just as well at 2 players as it does at 6. Plus, the clue token system ensures that everyone gives a clue at least once, reducing the opportunities for an alpha gamer or speller to take over. Aftermath is just the latest entry in the storybook line of games from Plaid Hat Games. In this 2 to 4 player game, players are small rodents, investigating the post-apocalyptic world and trying to figure out why humans vanished. They're also trying to deal with threats like cats and rats and lizards, and overall trying to develop their colony into a safe and thriving place. Aftermath is such a great cooperative experience, and it has such an awesome narrative element to it. The story elements, the characters, the heart that's been put into this game, and the amount of adventure that you'll experience when playing is all worth putting this on your list. Kwanchai Moria is a rising star in the board game industry because of his proven track record of easy-to-look-at games. Combined with the talents of designers Daryl Andrews and Erica Boyoris, Bosk is sure to be a delight amongst players. Are you silently asking, what on earth is a Bosk? Well, I had the same question. Simply put, it's a group of small trees. In the game, players grow and nurture their trees throughout 4 seasons. You'll gain points by effectively planting trees and covering the most spaces on the board with their leaves. The game is relatively easy to learn, but each play proves to be challenging. Tree placement in the first season has a major impact later on in the game, and because of having the majority of falling leaves on the board, you want to disperse your trees as evenly as possible. Planning ahead is essential if you want any chance of competing. What's most enjoyable about Bosk is the leaf blowing element. In the fall season, players take advantage of the changing winds to blow leaves across the board. The goal is to cover up as many spaces as possible to earn the majority in 8 different sections. With the ability to cover up what your opponents have done with your leaves and adorable little squirrel, the innocent-looking game of thriving trees is instead deceptively tactical, making it all the more rewarding when you win. Stick 'em up, Meeple! The Wild West game from Final Frontier Games may come in a small package, but what it lacks in size is made up for in the execution of the underused Mancala mechanism. A fistful of meeples has been criminally overlooked, so hopefully it can gain some notoriety. A tiny board depicting a western Main Street is lined with several buildings. Each will be filled with several meeples of different colors. The colors represent stereotypical western characters: miners, deputies, robbers, builders, and madams. On your turn, you will pick up a fistful of meeples from one building and place them one at a time in front of the other buildings along Main Street. The meeples interact based on their type and new location. For example, a deputy placed on a building with robbers is potentially rewarded with gold pieces. Of course, no Western is complete without a shootout, so there's the opportunity for exciting dice-rolling showdowns. A Fistful of Meeples is the perfect game to introduce the main Kala mechanism. It's short, easy to learn, and the implementation of the theme is flawless. It's what enables the game to be so teachable. The actions just make sense. This one earns a big yeehaw from me. Who would have thought molding a planet could be so much fun? In Eco's first continent, players work together, yet competitively, to create a new continent. There's so much to like about this game. First of all, let's talk about component quality. If I didn't know any better, I'd say this game was funded on Kickstarter. It's going to hold up for a long time. The land water tiles are made of much thicker cardboard than your standard board game, and instead of plastic, AEG decided to add in hefty tree, mountain, and element pieces made of wood. And to top it all off, the game comes with helpful storage boxes to keep the dozens of animal tokens organized. The design by John Dekleer is what makes the game stand out though. It relies heavily on the element symbols present on the wooden tiles and the cards. Each card has some type of special action or ability. As the Harbinger draws tiles out of a bag, players cover up matching symbols on their cards. Abilities activate once all spots on the card are covered up. It's a fresh system that allows everyone to play simultaneously. Excitement builds as the Harbinger draws tiles one by one, with everyone hoping for that one symbol they need. Upon completing a card, you'll shout, "Ecos!" and anyone else who completes a card get to carry out its action, which usually includes adding to the existing continent. There are all sorts of tricky decisions to make, like where and when to place a cube from your limited supply. But satisfaction is huge when you're able to trigger just the right cards at just the right time to earn you an amazing number of points. Silver and Gold is the smallest game on this list, and arguably one of the best of its size. Designer Phil Walker Harding has an impressive resume of game designs. Sushi Go, Baron Park, Gizmos, and Imhotep, to name a few. However, Silver and Gold might just be my favorite of his. As is typical with many of his games, Silver and Gold works for just about any audience. You can play it with your gamer friends on game night, or your coworkers on your lunch break. Inside the very portable box is a deck of cards and 4 dry erase markers. There are 2 types of cards, treasure map cards and expedition cards. Each turn, the active player flips over an expedition card on which a polyomino shape is displayed. Players will then use the dry erase markers to cross out squares on their treasure map cards in that shape. Most squares are empty, but some contain icons like palm trees or gold coins, which trigger effects when crossed out. It capitalizes on the recent explosion of roll, flip, and write games, but shines brighter than the rest. Everyone plays simultaneously, so there's never any downtime. And because of its portability, you can slip it into your purse or coat pocket and take it with you to play at a restaurant. The dry erase markers are a bonus because you don't have to carry around and subsequently throw away sheets of paper. Horrified started getting buzz around Gen Con 2019, and for good reason. As a mass market game initially sold only in Target stores, many were hesitant to play it. Games found in stores like Target or Walmart have had pretty poor reputations until recently. 2018's Villainous is a perfect example of a high-quality mass market game. And just like Villainous, Horrified is a game featuring well-known movie antagonists. The Universal movie monsters are as iconic as Disney villains, giving the game points for its ability to attract both new and seasoned gamers. More points are given to Horrified because of how easy it is to teach and learn. Pretty much anybody can grasp the concepts that make up the game. And with it being cooperative, anybody who may not understand completely can be guided by the rest of the team. Now you can consider this game to be modular. Each monster is defeated uniquely, and you can increase or decrease the difficulty by changing how many monsters you face. If you only own one cooperative game, it needs to be Horrified. It's fun, thematic, inexpensive, and accessible to anyone interested in modern gaming. When I was putting together this list of must-own games for 2019, Parks was immediately placed as number 1. In Parks, players use their hikers to move along a trail in a U.S. national park. Each space on the trail offers a benefit, but only one hiker can be on the space at a time. You'll use resources like sun, water, wildlife, and mountains to gain abilities, upgrades, and most importantly, to visit parks. The park cards beautifully illustrate the national parks and contain interesting factoids about each one. Parks has everything a game should have to become a staple in your collection. A welcoming theme, stunning artwork, interactive gameplay, simple rules, meaningful decisions, high-quality components, good replayability factor, average playtime, and quick turns. Each person can approach the game differently, but competition remains tight. Plus, the game evokes a pretty chill atmosphere. It's the best representation of outdoor recreation ever presented in a game. Everyone can find something to enjoy in Parks, even if you prefer to keep your recreation indoors. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If there are any games for 2019 that you love that weren't on this list, post them in the comments below. I want to check them out. Maybe I made a major mistake. Until next time, don't take the board game hobby too seriously, just lighten up.